Greetings once again, Ninja. Duuz-Diz-Din, back again with more Naruto, Sasuke's story, the Uchiha and the Heavenly Stardust. Sasuke and Sakura have infiltrated a prison of all places, ran by the warden Zansul, and kept watch by his pet velociraptor, Mano. Sasuke's trying his best not to rock the boat too much. Yes, this is a prison, but they're here for information, not to take the place down. And you can't really go against the warden, who's simply trying to do his job, as far as we know, at least at the moment. But Sasuke as a prisoner has been on Zansul's radar, and with Sasuke finding out he cannot use his Sharingan on Zansul and Mano, it's become a lot more difficult. Hence, Sakura's presence as the nurse of the prison. Well, doctor of the prison. And Sakura has already found a lead. Sasuke's own cellmate, Tanjiro, seems to have some information on the cure for Naruto's disease. Is this the lead they finally need to accomplish their mission? Or is this another dead end? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, Chapter 4. Sasuke questions Sakura. One of my cellmates is the library attendant. He's a gambling fiend. If you bait him with a wager, there's no doubt he'll take it. Sakura says he must be the one sitting over there. Sasuke informs her, yeah, that's him. He could be our key to the map of the heavens. Sasuke tells her, I'll get his attention first. Then you come over and make your move. Sakura says, got it. As Sasuke makes his way through the library toward Tanjiro, who seems to be gambling yet again. One of the prisoners playing with Tanjiro says, dang it, looks like I lose. Tanjiro smiles and laughs, saying, hee, deal's a deal. Picks up a pack of smokes and says, your smokes are mine. The guy says, you can't quit now, Tanjiro. Come on, one more round. Tanjiro says, let's take a break, boys, as he almost runs into Sasuke, who walks up behind him. Tanjiro says, that's a face I wasn't expecting. Never thought I'd see you in a place like this, Sasuke. Sasuke simply says, maybe so, but I could say the same about you, glancing at the book that Tanjiro is holding. He says, here I was convinced the only thing you were interested in was gambling. Tanjiro says, screw you too? Taking offense to the remark, saying, I'm allowed to read books and stuff. He holds up the book that has a interesting claw mark. A claw mark of a dinosaur? Saying, or more like I flipped through the pictures, this one's a real blast. It's chock full of dragon beasts that went extinct way back when. They called them dragon beasts. Huh. And Jiro holds up the book saying, see? We see a picture of what kind of looks like a brachiosaurus, but it's called a colossal beast, Titan. The book reads, Titan, a large dragon with a long neck and tail. A partial skeleton of the creature has been discovered in the area around the Tartar Observatory. The Titan's upper forelimb bones are particularly long, placing its shoulders higher than its hip, also distinguishable by its long neck. Tanjiro says, you into books about dragons? I could grab you some of my faves. Sasuke says, not really, but there is one book I'm looking for. It's called The Map of the Heavens. Tanjiro says, Map of the Heavens, huh? Nah, never heard of it. We could check out a book catalog to find out where it's at. But first we gotta grab someone who can actually read. Wait, someone who can actually read? Sasuke says, I can read. Tanjiro simply says, no kidding? Well, how about that, Sasuke? How many of you guys... So, he did say he only looks at the pictures. Wow, huh. I didn't consider maybe he wasn't educated to read. Sometimes those are the people who turn to crime the most. Not so much them being greedy as it is them simply trying to survive in certain cases. We cut to Tanjiro coming up from downstairs area, I guess, near the reception desk. He says, here we go, holding a large book. Sasuke says, great, thanks. Tanjiro sets down the massive book on the counter saying, here's the complete library catalog. Jeez. Sasuke flips through the massive book until it comes upon something specific. Sasuke points to what he's found, saying, here, basement stacks, book 1 through 24. Tanjiro says, the basement, huh? Guess you won't be getting that book after all. Sasuke questions, why is that? Tanjiro says, they say that they only keep the most valuable books down there. The real treasures. We could never afford some of those books, even a whole lifetimes of earning. Forget actually taking one of those books. If you so much as step down there, you'd get the ultimate sentence, no questions asked. Death by hanging. Jeez. Sasuke says, that's too bad, as he closes the book. But then Sakura moseys on up to the counter saying, did you say you're looking for a map of the heavens? That sounds really interesting. Panzira notices Sakura and says, oh, if it ain't the good doctor. Sakura says, I've been meaning to study up on astronomy. But Panzira informs her, sorry, but the map of the heavens book is totally off limits. Still, I bet you can find some others that talk about the stars. Sakura simply says, no one would know if I snuck in late at night, though. Can you just lend me the key? As she holds out her hand. Panzira is taken aback, saying, no can do, ma'am. I can't hand out that key, not even for you, Doc. They'd probably string me up, too. Sakura leans in on the counter and says, in that case, why don't we gamble for it? Huh. Oh, okay. Sakura has some experience from, being under Tsunade. Panzira is taken aback, taking a deep gulp. She's got his number. Sakura says, how about CeeLo? Or Hanafuda? What's your favorite game? Dealer's choice. And if you win, you hand me the key to the basement. Panzira is nervous, and he says, but if you get caught, my butt's on the line too. Sakura leans in even more, saying, but the guards don't go down there much, right? I'll go at night, do some reading, and give you back the key right away. She begs, saying, I promise. Panzira is obvious he's about to crack as he slams his hands on the table, saying, fine already, you got a deal. Sakura raises her fist in triumph, saying, that's the spirit, so what's the game? Panzira rubs his neck, saying, let me think. He then points to her and says, let's make it Starline. Sakura questions what this is, and Sasuke asks Starline. Panzira says, it's one of our standard games here at the observatory. The goal is to make different hands using certain sets of 12 cards. A few months back, the guys who tidy up the shelves found the card set and the rules, like a gift from nowhere. The three of them make their way over to the other prisoners as Panzira gathers up the cards. As the man asks, what gives, Panzilla? He says, relax, I'm just taking your discard pile. Panzilla tells Sakura and Sasuke, a deck's got 60 cards total, 12 different pictures, 5 of each. Each player starts with a hand of 6 cards. So just like poker, you're swapping out cards in the hope of crafting a winning hand. Sakura examines one of the cards as one of the inmates says, dang it, lost again. Panzilla says, real shame. Anyway, me and the doc are up next. Panzilla holds out the rules to her, saying, here, Doc, check out the list of different hands you can make. Sakura examines the information as Panzilla shoos away the other inmate, saying, alright, make some space, boys. Sakura looks through the rules as Sasuke comes up next to her, saying, Sakura, while you're pretending to play against him, I'll find the right moment to cast Genjutsu. But Sakura tells her, no you won't. That would be cheating. Sasuke is shocked by this, saying, why should that matter? But Sakura tells him, I've got this, as she folds back the rules, saying, listen here. Ain't Lady Tsunade's top apprentice for nothing. Sasuke sweats, thinking to himself, except Tsunade was notoriously awful at gambling. I would assume that because of that, Sakura knows how not to lose, I guess. She uses Tsunade as an example of what not to do. Sakura sits across from Panzilla, saying, let's get to it. Panzilla points to the rule, saying, Doc, come on, a beginner like you ought to hang on to the list of hands during the game. She simply says, I've memorized it. Panzilla is a little taken aback, saying, as the other inmates question and chatter amongst themselves. I kind of love these panels. We see Sakura has taken off her shoes. She swoops the hair out of her eyes and takes off her lab coat, neatly folding it next to her as she tells Panzilla, shall we? Sakura just kind of looking real cute in that scene. I don't know why. Yeah, it took me off guard. Even Panzilla taken aback, saying, dang, the doc doesn't usually give off these vibes. Sakura Haruno. She hasn't had porn made of her for 20 years for nothing. Sakura says, since I'm sitting to the table, that makes me the dealer. She picks up the deck of cards, examines them, more than likely memorizing it. I wonder, card counting wouldn't actually work in this situation since one of the two of them would be a dealer. I wonder how crafty she could be though. She divvies up the cards, and then the two of them sort through their respective decks. Panzilla picks up his first hand and peeks at it, thinking to himself, that's not a bad hand. Sakura says, as someone who's fond of gambling, you must be pretty smart. Penzala says, I bet a doctor is plenty brainy too. Penzala sets down his first 2 cards, then draws a few more. Sakura says, we'll see about that, as she sets down 2 cards and draws 2 more. They continue to do this over and over, with Sasuke watching intently, and then Penzala says, that's 5 full turns, read 'em and weep, as he throws down his hand, as the other prisoners look in astonishment, saying, look at that, he got Earth already. Sasuke questions the prisoner, questioning, is that a strong hand? The prisoner says, sure it is, second best in the game. Only Star can beat it. That's the strongest hand there is. But Star and Earth have some cards in common, so now that Penzala's put together Earth, it's really unlikely that the doc managed to assemble Star at the same time. Sakura smiles as Penzala questions what she's smiling about, but as she turns over her card, the prisoners are shocked, saying, she had Earth too? Penzala looks at the card saying, no freaking way, nuh-uh. You cheated, didn't you? Sakura smiles a devious smile, saying, my, care to pat me down to prove it? Penzala doesn't say anything but tells her, one more match. Sakura says, fine by me. But after the match, Penzala says, you're pulling my leg. 5 matches and 5 draws? The prisoners question amongst themselves, how's this happening? Beats me, man. As Sakura simply says, we must be on the same wavelength. As Penzala simply slumps down. Sakura with a defiant smile says, should we keep playing? Penzala says, nah, let's say you win, as he reaches into his jacket saying, here you go. The key to the basement stop. Once you're done, get it back to me quick. Sakura reaches out for it, saying, I will, of course, thank you. But Penzala pulls back on the key, saying, but I should warn you. Sakura questions this, but Penzala says, just because the book you're after showed up in the catalog doesn't guarantee you'll find it on the shelves down there. Sakura questions, what? Why is that? Penzala says, while they were fixing up the observatory, the place was in charge of this collection. A whole bunch of books went missing during that time. Sucks big time, yeah? Those palace folks had no clue that sort of a treasure they were holding on to. Anyway, now you know the score. Sakura takes the key from him, saying, I'll temper my expectations, thanks. She then observes the key in her hand. Later that night, we see Sasuke making his way through the prison grounds, all the way to the library, where he sees Sakura standing outside the door. Sasuke questions, do you have the key? Sakura holds it up, saying, of course, and they make their way inside. As they enter into the library, Sakura questions Sasuke, asking, hey, is Gigi sleeping alright tonight? Sasuke questions, it was when I left our cell, why do you ask? Sakura says he's had a lot of issues bringing him into the infirmary recently. He might just be trying to get out of work though. Sasuke says he's faking. The man is perfectly healthy. Yeah, because he was trying to get with Sakura. Sasuke freezes though, and Sakura asks, what's wrong? He remembers Gigi saying, what if some flirt like me started coming around while you were gone? To Sasuke in regards to his wife. Then something unexpected happened. Sasuke takes Sakura's hand and she blushes profusely. And as Sasuke pulls his hand away, he tells her, wear that. Sakura then notices a ring on her left wedding finger. She looks at it in awe, saying, oh. She then thinks to herself as she holds the ring, saying, he must have used Earth style to make this. She tells him, thank you. My oh my. See, this makes me wish that we had more of, I don't know, how they got together, what rose to the situation of them ultimately getting together. Because it's super sweet, but, I don't know, there's always that thing in the back of my mind of how dismissive Sasuke used to be to her. But there were also plenty of times where he was very sweet to her too, so, I don't know. Sakura follows behind the quiet Sasuke as she continues to blush, and as they make their way down into the basement, Sasuke hands back over the keys, saying, so when you played Panzilla in Starlines yesterday, how did you pull that off? But Sakura is still just completely glowing over the ring. It's funny seeing Sasuke just completely flabbergasted by Sakura. But Sakura quickly turns around saying, what? Oh, that. I didn't cheat really. What I did took plenty of effort. As Sasuke opens the basement door, he questions, is that so? What kind of effort? She says, memorization. Sasuke is shocked, saying, really? As they make their way down into the basement, Sakura says, Those cards were all worn down, so they must have been pretty old. Each card had its own unique nicks and scratches, so I memorized the back of each one while pretending to check out the front. Oh, Jesus, Sakura, damn! I've heard of people doing stuff like that too, but that takes some next level skill and memorization ability. Sasuke questions, all 60? Sakura simply says, yeah. It was a little nerve-wracking at first since I hadn't gotten it all down pat just yet. It's a trick I learned while training with Lady Tsunade. You know how she's such a sore loser, right? Early on, I tended to humor her and let her win, but then she got a big head about it. She never wanted to back out when she was on a roll. Jeez, yeah, that sounds about right. I realized if all we did was tie, she'd just get bored. She'd say, let's call it quits, with that glum look on her face. So she learned how to just tie, because people would just lose interest. Yeah, I mean, someone who's gambling would just be like, gotta keep tying. Wait, what? That would be so frustrating, though. Sakura then touches the walls and is a little shocked. Sasuke turns to her and says, find something? Sakura says, beyond this wall, there's an open space. Sasuke is shocked as he thinks in the direction of the main building. Sakura then focuses her chakra in order to get a read on things. A sensory skill. I'm not really familiar with this. If we've seen this before, let me know. Has Sakura ever displayed this kind of... I mean, she does have insight abilities. We've seen that, but this is interesting. As she gets a read on things, she says, a spiral staircase, going up to the 4th floor, the director's office. Sasuke says, the main building doesn't have any staircases leading down as far as I know. Sakura says, that's a mystery to check out later. Something to do with the ultra particles, hopefully, but for now. And thus they've made their way into the basement library. As she tells them, we've got a book to find. They make their way through looking for I-24. And as they sort through the book, Sakura finds it, saying, here we go. This is the one. She pulls out the book that says Map of the Heavens. She says, we really found it. She makes her way over to one of the reading tables and opens it up, saying, let's hope this holds some sort of clue. But as she looks through, she sees artwork, specifically a picture of what looks like raccoons. She says, is this Sai's work? Of course, she would immediately say Sai, but she thinks to herself as she looks through, saying, no, it's not his. Still, this scent, like charred oil. I'm familiar with it from my missions with Sai. I love that Sai is actually coming into play with her information in terms of artistry. Man, you hardly ever get people learning from others just through kind of being with them so often. She says, this was painted with watered down ink made from soot. They don't use this technique in Ridaku. It's a tradition from the land of fire. Sasuke says, does that mean the book was made beyond Ridaku's borders? Or maybe an outsider arrived and painted it here? Sakura says, we do know someone who came to this land and stayed here a long time ago. She thinks to herself, the sage or sixth path. Is it possible he painted all of this? She thinks to herself, perhaps he worked on this art while he was here, before this ink painting technique spread to the other lands. It's only a theory for now, but it's definitely a possibility. Sasuke notices something as they look through the book, seeing all the various different paintings. Sasuke says, these paintings match the cards of the Star Lines game. So that had a greater meaning. Sakura says, but what's unclear is how these 12 ink paintings are connected to the location of the ultra particles. And Sakura then notices something on one of the pages. A slug? Sakura realizes something, saying, look, there's something more to this art. Sasuke questions this, and she says, I think it's a book of constellation. Sasuke says, that means these plant and animal designs are related to star pattern. Sakura says, see, these 5 dots look just like the Dipper. And she points to the 5 dots on the painting of the slug. Sasuke says, right. And the Dipper can only be seen from the end of spring into summer, so the slug is a constellation that represents that part of the year. Sakura continues to flip through the pages, saying, we've got exactly 12 paintings here, so maybe they're all constellations that show up in different months, and if we rearrange them in the correct order, it should lead us to a new clue. Sasuke says, that sounds like it'll take some time, but Sakura says, no, it's not bad. I can manage. This place has all the old records I could possibly need for this. Give me 2 days and I'll have the order all figured out. Sasuke simply says, I can always count on you. Aww. Then Sasuke looks back through the book, flipping through the various paintings. Wonder what he's seeing. He thinks to himself, this lineup feels familiar somehow. I've seen it before, but not recently. Where has he seen this before? Even Sakura questions, what's on your mind, Sasuke? He says it's nothing, but then he notices something. He picks up a note, and Sakura looks at it too, saying, ooh, what's that? It says the stars increased, and it has a Leaf Village symbol on it. She questions, what could that mean? But then they both notice the mark and question, why does this note have the mark of Konoha? The next day, the two of them pass each other in the halls, quickly exchanging a note to each other. Sasuke examines the note, and it's a rundown of the various different animal pictures, and they correlate with months of the year. Yeah, 12 images, 12 months. Okay. So each animal corresponds to a month. Sasuke thinks to himself as he reads it, saying, the animals are all grouped in January through August. The Watchfire is September, the Giant is October, and the humans are November and December, the Shepherd and Elder respectively. He then turns over the note and sees the message saying tomorrow, 2 p.m., library, ending the chapter. I'm fascinated by this. It's not very action-packed chapter, but the level of intel gathering is intriguing. Like actual ninja stuff, spy working, information gathering. And like I said before, it's like Sakura never felt like she got her real dues in the original series. Like, anytime that she had a great moment, it always felt like it was undercut by something later down the line. Like, the biggest moment that really just kind of was to Sakura's detriment in my mind, it always rubbed me the wrong way, was when she tried to convince Naruto that she had fallen in love with him, but she was planning on going off and killing Sasuke, and that went so far south so quickly, and it was just like, man, Sakura, I get it, you're in a bad place, but that was not a good plan. I expected more from you, kid. And it never felt like they gave Sakura enough, like, really great action scenes, which would be fine if she was only a medical ninja, but, I mean, when she got that Tsunade strength, it's just like, come on, let Sakura work, let the girl cook. Or at the very least have more moments where she shows how brilliant she could be, which is what we had with the infiltration of the White Zetsu during the 4th grade ninja war. She showed some great insight, but it wasn't pushed as well as I think it should have been. I guess what I'm ultimately saying is, I wish we got a lot more Sakura in Naruto, because it's obvious how smart she was from the get-go, but I guess I just wish there were more instances in the original series where she got to really flex that intelligence, you know? I don't know, I guess I'm just selfish. Like, I would have loved to have seen a moment where you have all these massive giant tail beasts during the war, and Sakura just casually managed to just flip one or deck one in the face with her bare hands. But her mental capabilities being on full display here, good stuff, good stuff. I guess you don't always need someone to just flex how strong they are, showing off how intelligent they are, can sometimes be just as good, if not better in certain situations. And I don't think I was ever like I said, I wasn't really behind the whole Sasuke and Sakura pairing thing. But this, I'm like, you know what, this is pretty damn good stuff. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you okay with this being a more cerebral chapter? Or do you wish it was more action-oriented? And what did the clues that Sasuke and Sakura have stumbled upon ultimately correlate to the cure for Naruto? What are your thoughts and theories? Let me know in the comments, but also remember to like, subscribe, bell, all that good YouTube stuff, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see ye in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.